Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Teen Talks About Stuff podcast. I'm your host, AJ Rizzo. Now, hope you all are having a great, good old day. I know I haven't been done this in a while, and I know that I've lightened up quite a lot on the podcast front as of late, but a lot of other stuff is going on in my life and in the world, and I have been focusing on that. I said that it was very likely that we would end up slimming down a bit on podcast episodes and things like that, um, which is how it is, how things be. Um, that's okay. Um, we have we still have a whole lot of cool stuff. We just hit over 400 downloads um, across the podcast, which is over the span of how many episodes? How many episodes have we done? What episode is this? This is episode 63. So if we do some very epic math of 402 divided by 62, that means we average about 6.5 listeners per episode. Isn't that cool? Isn't that awesome? I know it doesn't sound that cool in the grand scheme of things, but for me, that's pretty cool. I have, more than 6 people, less than 7 people who listen to every episode. That's very cool. On average, people listen to less. But that's still cool. That's still very cool. Yeah. So thank you all for listening. Let's just look at all of my statistics. Let's just take a look at all of them because why not? The most popular episode in the month of June has been the "I Am Bisexual and Stuff" video episode, which makes sense because my entire family listened to it because they were like, so that was that. And then it's a whole bunch of other videos, not videos, but episodes about just like other stuff that it's just like standard episodes, nothing specific. But none of the more recent episodes, which is annoying. Yesterday we had 2 listeners. Today we've had 1 so far, which is weird because it said that we had 4 listeners yesterday. I guess so. Okay, I guess that means this means 4 people listened. That means it was 4 listens. So that means that there was 2 listeners listened to 4 episodes total. So maybe 1 person listened to 3 or 2 people listened to 2. Okay, that makes sense. All right, that makes sense. We have 3 people who have been listening for quite a while, for a couple weeks. They tell you how many people have listened over a long span, and we've had 3 people that continue to listen week after week. So thank you all very much for those 3 people who stick with it. Very, very cool. What other statistics are there? Everyone in the month of June is from the US of A. We have 70 downloads coming from Illinois, 51 coming from Michigan, 2 from Missouri, 2 from Pennsylvania, 1 from California, and 59 coming from unknown states, meaning that they didn't specify what state they're from or wasn't available information when they listened. Let's look at all time. Let's look at from the start of the podcast. Where is my demographic? Okay, let's take a look-see. Okay, we have had 127 downloads from Illinois, 51 from Michigan, which were all in the span of 1 month. We've had 4 from California, 3 from Missouri, 3 from New York, 2 from Pennsylvania, 2 from Wisconsin, 1 from Florida, 1 from Georgia, 1 from Massachusetts, 1 from Minnesota, 1 from North Carolina, 1 from Nevada, 1 from Tennessee, and 184 from unknown states. Let's look at the whole world. We have a lot more spanned out. We've had 2 downloads from Canada. Very cool. We've also had 1 from the United Kingdom, 1 from India, and 1 from Russia. So, international podcast. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna. The point of this episode is not to talk about. The point is not to talk about these. Not talk about my statistics. That wasn't the point, but that's what I ended up being. That's what I ended up going into. That's not the point. No, it is not. But yeah, I do. I'll tell you about. I'll explain what we're doing in a little bit. But I do also want to give another heads up of there's probably not gonna be a lot of episodes in the near future. Just because today's Wednesday in my time, Thursday for you. Maybe I'll do one more on Thursday, but I'm already planning to hang out with a friend during my normal recording time, so probably not one coming Thursday. Then nothing Friday, Saturday, or maybe one Sunday. Um, I don't know. I don't know my work schedule. But then probably not one. So maybe Sunday, Monday I'll record. And then Tuesday definitely not because it'll be my brother's birthday. And then after that I'll be on vacation for 8 days. So I won't be available then either. I will be in California. So um, yeah, none of that will be any podcast episode. So after that I'll come back on the 9th, which means the episode after that will come out will be maybe the 10th. So I'm just giving you all forewarning that there is going to be quite a bit of a break coming up. I know there's already been a decline in episodes as of recently because of my less available schedule, but just also as well know that there's going to be a substantial break coming soon. Um, so yeah, just forewarning. Um, yeah, but again, I don't suspect it'll be over. This will come back. Everything will be great. But today, considering this might be the last episode I do in the month of June, I wanted to do one last uh, Pride Month episode, um, specifically about my own. I'm gonna really gonna milk this because I'm really gonna milking my sexuality because people look. Okay, look, look, look. Um, First of all, I like talking about it because I don't really talk about it in any other case. But there are also the two episodes I've done about it um do really well. So clearly you all enjoy listening to them. And I also just want to do more Pride content. So yeah, obviously LGBTQ plus content will not only be confined to the times of Pride Month. Um, but you know, I specifically want to make sure I do a couple with these. So here we go. We're going to do bisexual fact or fiction. Um, okay. It's just a phase or you're just confused. So what this is but the way they're doing this, and I will look at them, but I'm not going to take from them because I can do this on myself, I think. I don't think I need them. But what they do is there's a myth or the fiction, right? And then they give a statement of why that's fiction and what the real facts are. Um, so the fiction phrase is it's just a phase or you're just confused. And I really don't. This one I understand the viewpoint of it, because for many they do. For many who don't quite know what what they're like, what don't really know their sexuality, they use bisexual as a stepping stone to get to gay because they think that if they just they're like, well, I definitely do like the same gender, so I guess I'm bi, right? And then they're like, well, no, I don't even like the opposite gender at all, so I'm gay, right? Which is totally fine. Not everybody's not supposed to know 100% what their sexuality is all the time. Everyone identifies as different things. They're in different times, and some people know from the time they're 6, what they are, and then they don't ever have to doubt it. And some people, don't know for a while, and then they know, and then they know, and then some people just don't really know for a really long time, maybe ever. I have a friend who always floats around, and I don't blame her. It's just like it's just how it is. It's like when you have when they float around and stuff like that. It shouldn't be blaming anyone. It shouldn't. Not everybody needs to know what it is, and personally, I don't think that there's a need for anyone to come up with a label. Like, I know that I use labels. I label myself as bisexual, biromantic, and things like that. But really, truly, it's not anything that I can really like. I don't really think it's necessary to have a label. I like the label. It empowers me. I enjoy it. It gives me something to put down, put into words what I am, right? But I don't. Not everybody needs that. Not everybody has to have a label. If you don't know what you are and you don't really feel like explaining it, don't. Like, just be you, and that's fine. You know, you don't need a label. And I think that that's something that people really get hung up on, is the need to get a label, especially the fact that other people feel the need to have other people in labels. You know, you don't need to be labeled. Other people don't need to be labeled. They just need to be who they are, and that's it. Um. So yeah, I mean, I get that it's a thing because it's happened before, and I get how people cannot see that, but there definitely are people who are to date both genders, and have no issue with it. Like, and it's just like they're not confused. They do just like both forever, and that's totally fine. Like, so yeah, but it's also okay to be confused, or if it is just a phase like that. I know that a lot of people in the community try to strike out against that sort of idea because they don't want it to become a thing, but it is sometimes a phase, and sometimes people need to go through that to understand who they are, and that's okay. And I support that. Just don't let that become what you think of when you think of bisexuals. Bisexuals are more likely to cheat. I don't even understand that one because it's blatantly not true. Um, like, if you actually look at the statistics, they're actually less likely to. And also, obviously, there's no sexuality has nothing to do with someone's personality in terms of what they would do, whether or not they would cheat or not. That is unique. That is unique to a person. It has nothing to do with their sexuality. The reason I think that this comes from is because a lot of people who are heteronormative will get married or get into a long term relationship with someone of the opposite gender, and then feel the need to, feel a sort of feel the homosexual attraction and feel their homosexual tendencies, and want to explore that further, even though they're in a long term relationship with the opposite gender. So I think that that's probably where that comes from, is because a lot of people in the past have secretly gone through homosexual phase, like, not phases, but like, cheated in a homosexual way, um, causing it to that stereotype to form. Again, it statistically is not true. It's a stereotype. It's something that some people notice. But again, if you look at the percentage of cheaters, it's mostly straight people. So, and again, I know that, the argument that, oh, there's just more straight people. Like, no, if you look at the percentage of gay people who cheat, percentage of bisexual people who cheat, and percentage of straight people who cheat, straight people cheat more often. That's all it is. So, not saying that anyone's sexuality is is necessarily. I'm not saying that because you're straight, you're more likely to cheat. It comes down to the person. It's just saying that it doesn't not true. It doesn't make sense that that's true because they're not even more likely to cheat. So I don't understand that. But also, again, it has nothing to do with sexuality. It's a person's thing. And if you date someone who cheats, it's not because of sexuality. It's because they're a shitty person. If you can't be bisexual if you only dated people of gender X. Yeah, this is the one that I think my family has personally had the most struggle understanding, right? Is where it's like they really think that it's like I'm just leaving my options open, like something like that, where it's like, um, yeah, it's like a lot of people. I mean, like my parents specifically have both said that they don't understand how I could know that I'm bisexual without ever having dated or had an experience with a man or a male. That's the one man. But the thing with that is, it's like, well, when you're in middle school, before you've ever dated or kissed anyone or had any sort of anything with anyone, right? You know you're straight, right? Because you can feel the attraction towards people. You can feel your feelings, and you know what it, you know how you feel, and you can know that, and it's not any different than that, and it's just like, I knew I liked girls before I ever dated one. I still haven't kissed one. You mean, so it's just like it's not like I need to know that I like girls, and it's the same thing. It's like you can tell, like, it's not just like, you know what I mean? Because if someone said they were straight, if someone said they were gay and only dated gay people, but said that they were bi because they also felt straight attraction, I really don't think it'd be the same thing, right? Like, you mean, like, if I would have only dated guys in the past, right? And then I said that I also like girls, people would be like, yeah, okay, like that makes sense, right? I just think it's annoying that it's like, because I've only dated girls in the past, it people feel that it invalidates my bisexuality when I know it doesn't. It's just annoying because it's like, I know, like, because, like, before my freshman year, I had never dated or had any sort of experience. I guess I had once, but I don't really count that. But I never actually dated or had any sort of romantic or physical interaction with a girl or a guy, right? But I very much knew in my freshman, the beginning of my freshman year, that I was straight. Not straight, but I knew that I liked girls, right? Like, I knew that, right? Like, I knew I had the straight attractions, right? So if and no one would have told me that, well, you don't know you're straight, you never dated a girl, it's like, you don't know that you like girls, you never dated a girl. It's like, no, that's not how that works, because you can know, like, right? Like, you know. So I don't know, whatever. It's obviously that what they say obviously doesn't affect my sexuality, and it doesn't matter, but it's just, I wish they would be like, yeah, well, obviously it makes sense, like, just go with it, but whatever. Bisexuals must like men and women equally. I'm honestly, truly, that for most bisexuals is not true. Um, it's not. It's really not. Most people have a preference. No, not so like a preference, I guess. It's just that if you were to line up, right, like the way I try to think, I think of it is, right. It's like, I say that I like girls more, right? But what I don't mean by that is not like my feelings are stronger towards girls than they are towards guys, right? That's not it. And I'm not saying that if I were to pick if it was a guy and a girl in front of me, I would pick the girl. It's not that either, right? What it is it's like, the reason I say I like girls more is because if you line up 100 girls and line up 100 guys, right, and say pick out the ones that you think are attractive, or the ones that you'd be willing to date, right, there would be more girls than there would be guys, right? So that's really what it is. It's like, I like if you I'm casting a much wider net with girls than I am with guys, which is why I say that I like girls more. But it does not mean that if I would in a relationship with a man, that I would I would like him less than if I was in a relationship with a woman. And I'm not saying that, again, if you put a woman in front of me and a man in front of me, I would just pick the woman, right? Like, that's not true at all. It's just that I like more women than I like men. If that, like, it's just a higher rate, a higher ratio. That's what I mean by that. Which is how most people are. Most people don't most people aren't 50-50. That's not how it is. Um, so yeah, bisexuality is exclusionary. Bisexuality is I don't know how to say the word exactly, but bisexuals exclude transgender people in terms of their attraction, right? So, like, they only like cisgendered people, which is not true. Um, Again, that's also not true. I mean, I know straight people that you don't exclude trans people. Like, they'd be willing to date someone based on the gender they identify as, rather than the gender that they biologically are or biologically were. You know what I mean? Like, so, I know straight people that would be willing to date a transgender person. So that's not even true. I don't think there's really any sexuality that excludes transgender people. I really think that it's more another personal thing. I am very open to dating a trans person. That is not an issue for me. I do. I think it's something that should be disclosed to me. Be like, it's something that I want to be aware of. What I said in the past is that the way I see bisexuality and pansexuality differently is that pansexuality is attraction regardless of gender, and bisexuality is attraction not only because of gender, but because of gender, right? But not as like not saying because it's of gender, but like like the gender matters, right? That's something for me. It's like I do need to know what your gender is. Otherwise, it just makes it easier in my head. I guess like I can find a person attractive and still like I can find a person attractive and still but I do need gender does matter to me is what I'm trying to say, I guess, right? So if someone is trans and we're going into a relationship, I do not so like the first thing that you need to be telling me about, but like before it gets anywhere near serious, it is something I need to be aware of. So don't just be like the first time we get physical, it's just like, hey, and now I'm trans. You're like, oh, whoa, like it's something I need to be aware of first, but it is something that I'm okay with. It's just I need to be aware of it. Um, Bisexuals aren't as oppressed because they are half straight. No, I really think actually, and again, there's a difference because I'm lucky enough that I'm passing, which is a term for all these things people who are who are or have been oppressed and who are discriminated against. If you kind of come off like you're part of the standard white straight white straight person, right? Then it's all good, right? So for example, right, like because I I am I come off very straight. I come off very, straight. I've only been in straight relationships. All these things. Most people, unless I tell them otherwise, think that I'm straight, right? So I don't really face that oppression a lot. And there are gay people that, unless they know their history with dating and unless they tell them, they think that they're going to be straight. Like that's the thing, is right? You're passing, right? And there's some people that are very clearly flamboyant that even if they aren't gay, appear gay and get the sort of hate people get for being gay. So for me, I'm lucky enough that I haven't had that issue. The problem with it is that the people who are discriminatory think that because that you're gay, because you have homosexual attraction, that there's still an issue regardless of whether or not you're actually gay or you're bisexual. But the also problem is that a lot of people within the LGBTQ plus community also don't like bisexuals because they feel that they're fake gay, or because they have a straight side, they think that they're not gay enough for the community. So um, that's the issue. That's the thing. That's why I think that it's actually not really true at all, because they really get it from both sides, and they don't really get a lot of they don't really get a lot of that from either side, right? Sorry, that site had ran out of things. Um, so we gotta find a different site. HuffPost. Okay, can you line it up real nice for me? No. I know people like write a bunch of paragraphs. Like I don't want to read it. I want bullet points. Okay, sexual orientation. Okay, all right. So this is just sexual orientation myths and facts in general. So, myth: lesbian, gay, and bisexual people can be identified by a certain mannerisms or physical characteristics. No, obviously that's definitely not true. Um, Again, like I was saying before, there are again stereotypically, right? Gay men are flamboyant, and lesbian women are more butch or tomboyish, right? Um, which again isn't always true. Some there are gay males that are flamboyant, and there are butch lesbians, but they're not mutually exclusive, right? Like, and it's not like there are butch there are more butch women who are straight, and there are flamboyant men that are straight as well, and it's like there's definitely no way to narrow it down. Um, there's no way of knowing besides just telling someone or just asking someone, right? Don't I really think that something that I always try to do, um, is that I don't really assume anyone's sexuality. I take what I know about them. So it's like, for example, if I know someone dated, say they was in a straight relationship before, I go, I know that they've dated a straight person before, so they're straight or bi or pan or they, was a relationship that they weren't. Like, I don't know, whatever, the whole bunch of different things like that, which is just like, who knows, right? Just don't try to assume that someone's straight until told otherwise, is what I really try to go with. If someone tells you they're straight, then obviously believe them. But I'm just saying, don't just meet someone and assume they're straight, and just because most people are straight. Because that's really where we get the issue with coming out, right? Which is why it's so hard. People like if everyone is assumed to be straight, then everyone has to come out, right? And I think that that's just really not where we should be at. I really think that everyone should just be who they are, and no one assumes anything, and everyone just gets to be told what they are. Like nobody is like no. It's not like everyone who's born is assumed to be straight, and then everybody who's not has to then clarify, right, to every single person they ever meet, right? I don't think that's fair, right? What I think they should be doing is I think that they should be um, assuming no one is straight and no one is gay and no one is bi and no one is pan or no one is anything else, right? And then they will. Then if someone wants to tell them what they are, then they can. If someone wants to have a label, they can. If somebody wants to just have no labels and be a gender or a sexual orientationless being, they can. That's really what I think. But whatever. Early sexual experiences are indicative of one's sexual orientation as an adult. Um, I see. So yeah, so this is kind of what I was saying. What they mean by this is it's like because it's like if someone comes out when they're like 20 saying that they're gay, right? And you're like, "What, you date all these girls in high school?" And it's like there's you can have heterosexual relationships with before, and doesn't invalidate your orientation is what they're saying. It's like just because you've had a certain type of relationship in the past doesn't mean that's how it always is. We know what causes sexual orientation. I don't even know. Let's read this. Many lesbian, gay, and bisexual people know they are attracted to members of their own sex at an early age, sometimes as young as 6 or 7 years old. Others learn much later in life, in their 30s, 40s, or 50s. Some research indicates that sexual orientation is determined between birth and age 3, but no one is sure what causes particular orientations. Um, yeah, there's another fact. Is another sorry another myth is that people are born with a certain orientation. That is false. At least from my point of view, at least from what I've seen. I don't believe anyone is born. I think that babies are born again with not as sexual beings. They don't have a sexual orientation. They don't even know of other things that exist. How can they be born a certain way if they don't even know of these things, right? I don't think that anyone is born gay or born straight or born bi or born anything else. I think that it's something that develops over time, and I think that's something that I think is really interesting. Is it's like you can't. No one is gay when they're born. That's not how that works. And no one is straight when they're born and then turn gay. Everyone is nothing, right? And then it develops throughout childhood. And I think that the interesting thing with it is that it's like the reason people think that that's how that works is because everyone assumes that every child is born is straight. So that when they're gay, they assume that they were turned gay. But the thing is the fact that they were never straight. They were nothing, and then they became gay. So same thing as straight children are born nothing and then become straight. That's how it is, and it's crazy to me that people are like you're born this way. It's like no, obviously not. Um, Lesbian, gay, and bisexual people and people flaunt their sexuality when they talk about their partner, hold hands, or kiss in public. I see. So some people think that because that they express their relationships in public, they believe that that is a flaunting their relationships. Uh, but no, obviously it is not. What it is it's them being exactly the same as straight people and showing affection and being themselves and being in a relationship and being in love if they're in love throughout their life. Like that's not anything that is needs to should be or needs to be. It's not flaunting. It's the same way straight people act. It doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah. people who are lesbian, gay, and bisexual work and live in only certain types of situations. LGB identified people belonging to all ethnic and racial groups are members of all religious communities, exhibit a range of mental and physical capabilities, and are of all ages. I see. So yeah, so it's definitely so it's like a thing where it's like it's like only whatever. It's like they're trying to say that people of certain backgrounds or ages or whatever are a certain way, and it's not true. Um, people of all types are like that. Yeah. Okay. So here now we're into the facts section. Fact: sometimes oppression based on sexual orientation escalates into physical violence. A survey of lesbian, gay, and bisexual people 52 to 87% have been verbally harassed, 21 to 70 to 27% have been pelted with objects, and 13 to 38% have been chased or followed, and 9 to 24% have been physically assaulted. In fact, most lesbian, gay, and bisexual people are comfortable with with their own biological sex. They don't regard themselves as being a member of the opposite sex. Being gay, lesbian, or bisexual is not the same as being transgender. Yeah, the thing. Okay, here's another thing. Here is another thing about this about yeah, it's here's the thing. Here is the thing. People of this people people a lot of people um in the communities, right, as would again go along with the stereotypes of the feminine men or the butch women. um the people think that it's because they see themselves as members of the opposite gender, or they wish they were part of the opposite gender, which really isn't true. Everyone has feminine and masculine parts of their personality, and how much they express those and what they fall into does not invalidate their gender or their gender identity. People can be whoever they want to be and be whoever they want to be, and express whatever sort of emotions or habits they want without being of a certain gender. You can like wearing makeup without having to be a woman, and it's not like if you're a man wearing makeup, you're transgender. You can just be a man who likes makeup and it doesn't even matter, right? And that's the thing, is that's like you don't have to. There aren't Just because you don't fall into a stereotype doesn't mean that just because you don't fall into the stereotype for a gender does not mean that you aren't part of that gender. It just means that you're a different part of the you're different than the majority of the gender. That's not an issue, and it does not mean that anyone's transgender because of it. Um, the majority of child molesters are heterosexual men, not lesbian, gay, or bisexual people. Almost all studies show that over 90% of child molestations are committed by heterosexual men. Yeah, again, that's the thing, is it's like again, again. Um, Another thing for some reason, which I think is like I think it's a, I think it's homophobes trying to come up with the actual reasons for their homophobia, right? Where it's like it's like, they're gonna molest my child. It's like, no, they're not. Like, if anything, giving your child to a straight man is the most dangerous thing you could do. Not saying that every straight man's gonna do it, but I'm just saying, if you're worried about someone getting molesting your child, giving it to a straight man is the riskiest play in terms of that regard. In that regard, so that's all it is, right? Homosexuality is not a type of mental illness and cannot be cured through psychotherapy. Although homosexuality was once thought to be a mental illness, the American Psychiatric and Psychological Association no longer considers it to be one. Psychiatric and psychological attempts to cure lesbian and gay men to have failed to change sexual orientation of the patient. These treatments may help change sexual behavior temporarily, but can also create emotional trauma. Yeah, the thing is, it doesn't change what they feel. You can scare them into acting straight, but it doesn't actually make them straight. You mean like you're just scaring them into being straight, which isn't. You're scaring them into acting straight, but they're still gay regardless. Um, there is no here. I like this one. There is no definable gay lifestyle. Similarly, there is no standard heterosexual lifestyle. Some people might think that a normal adult lifestyle is a heterosexual marriage with two children. Less less than 7% of all family units in the U.S. consist of a mother, a father, and two children living together. Most accurate generalization might be this might be this. Lesbian, gay, and bisexual people are different from one another in same ways that heterosexual people are different from one another. Thank you. Love that one. Yeah, the word lifestyle in regards to sexual orientation always gets to me. Like it's like you're choosing, like I want to. It's like it's a choice of how you want to live. It's like being gay is like, well, I'm choosing to be gay, and it's like, well, no, like it's not a choice. It's not a lifestyle either. Like someone can be in, someone can act heteronormative in every single way except for the person that they are attracted to and the person they spend a long-term relationship with, right? And that doesn't, and there can be people who who can be like the most gay acting people, which again, like stereotypically gay people in the world um, who just, who are also gay. Like it doesn't make a difference about how they live. It's the only thing that matters with sexual orientation is who someone is attracted to and who they want to be with. That is what it is. That's all it is. Nothing else. Everything else around it is just stereotypes and nonsense perpetuated by people. Um. So yeah, we're gonna do the rest of the time, which an idea I had before that I forgot about that I'm gonna do right now, is what I wanted to do for a little while, right? Which is what I want to do for all arguments, right? So you know how there's always these arguments with people about racists or homophobes. They just say things that it's just like the same thing over and over again. For example, the reason everyone hates gay people, the reasoning they give for it, because it's unholy or it's unnatural, right? I want to hear. So I want to hear. I want to hear literally any other reasoning beyond it's unnatural or it's a sin or it's against religion or it's against the will of God or it's not the way that the people were intended to be. Whatever. I want to hear literally an actual. I want to hear an actual argument. So why is it actually wrong to be gay? Let's see. Um. Okay. Let's see. Reasons why being gay is wrong. Besides. Besides. Besides the church. Here we go. 31 arguments against gay marriage. Okay, here we go. This is from 2012, okay? So let's see. There added more than just. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, we're gonna argue this. I know this has been argued a long time ago because this article is from 8 years ago. But we're still gonna do it anyway because I want to hear the actual argument. So we need to protect marriage. Um, nope, it's fine. Gay people getting married does not affect straight marriages at all. You can still get married. It's all cool. Don't worry about it. We're just trying to. We're opening the door so more people can get married. We're not saying that you can't. Cool. Very cool. We must preserve traditional marriage. Again, you can still have your traditional marriage without it affecting anybody else. No one's affecting anybody else. You can still get married exactly the way you want, take all the traditions you want without it mattering to anybody else. So you're good. Marriage is a sacred institution. It's not because most marriages fail, and also most marriages aren't religious at this point. Most people don't get married in a religious setting at this point. I know I won't, regardless. I know my parents didn't. Both times they were married. Both times my mom was married, she was not married in a religious setting. My stepdad, of course, the second time was not married in a religious setting. I don't know about the first time. I'm just saying most people don't really include religion in their marriages anymore, so it's really not that sacred. Marriage has always been a bond between a man and a woman. No. Because like everywhere else, for example, before America legalized gay marriage, These countries have already done it. Canada, Spain, Portugal, Argentina, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, Belgium, Netherlands, and South Africa. Yeah. There's also 48 countries that practice um, monogamy, and not that monogamy, but the other one, where you can be married to multiple people at the same time. That's also allowed in many places. So if your marriage is supposedly a sacred bond between a man and a woman, right? How come it's okay for one other people in other countries marry multiple people? That's not an issue. So gay marriage will confuse gender roles. Gender roles, yeah, gender roles are bad in the first place. So I don't really care. That one I don't get. Yeah, I don't really get that one because again, it doesn't. You don't need gender roles. People can just be whoever the fuck they want, regardless of their gender. I don't get it. Anyway, next one. Gay marriage will confuse the terms husband, wife, mother, and father. No, they won't. If two men get married, they'll be husbands. That's a husband and that's a husband. If two women get married, they'll be wives. That's a wife and that's a wife. If they have a kid, it'll be mother and mother. If they have a kid, it'll be father and father. It's really not that hard. Gay people should not have children, so should not be allowed to marry. Um, that's not the reason for marriage at all, and we all know that, right? And also, um, yeah, that's just not why people get married. That's not not since like the 19th century. That's not how that works. But studies have shown heterosexual parents are better for children's. Yeah, that's not what it says. It said children. I'm just an idiot. I can't read. Again, no, they don't. No, they don't. Sexual orientation of the parents has shown to have very little effect on the development of the child. If anything, having gay parents has actually improved the child's well-being and also improved their open-mindedness and their compassion for others. So that really doesn't mean anything. No one has the right to redefine marriage. Literally, people do it all the time. Laws do it all the time. Just because it hasn't happened in your lifetime doesn't mean it doesn't happen. The minority should not have the right to dictate to the majority. They're not asking for you to change anything. No one's asking for straight marriages to change at all. Straight marriages will be exactly the same. All they're asking is that they get to be the same way. That's all. That's the only question. But that's all the only thing they're asking for. We. I say they because it's a past thing. It's already happened now, at least in America. Public opinion polls show most people are against gay marriage. No, they're not. No, they're not. That's also not true. Most people are for it. It doesn't. Why is it so important for gay people to have marriage? Why is it so important for straight people to have marriage? Why don't we all just stop getting married? We don't get married anymore. Nobody gets married. Nobody. Not gay people, straight people, nobody gets married. No, that sucks too, doesn't it? People like to declare their. Like, I don't need it. I don't really care about it. Marriage personally, about like the actual ceremony and certificate and proof that we're married. Whatever. I don't care about that. But it also does matter for a lot of people because they want to be officially together. They want to be able to be treated the same way for like because they'll be just as committed as any straight couple, but they don't get to be say that they're married because they're not allowed to. Why do gay people have to get society's approval? Because well, because yeah, it's not about approval. It's just about equality. They want because they want it to be legal, right? Like if you want to get married, right? If you want to get married, right? If you want to get married, right, you want to get married. Um, you're not. It's not like you're not doing it because you want straight people to accept that idea. They just want you to make it legal for them to do that, right? That's the issue. The Why there are two sides of the argument. Why can't we compromise? I really don't think there's anything to compromise on. There's no middle ground to this. It's a yes or no question. Should gay people get married? Yes or no? What are you gonna do? Like, you make them half married? Like, I don't understand. Like, either you're married or you're not. There's no like fucking middle ground. You don't get to like. There's nothing to compromise on, right? And also, like they say, like with civil rights, there shouldn't be a middle ground. Should women be able to vote? Well, they can be. They can vote, but they'll count as like 3/5 of a person. Yeah, that doesn't work, does it? Right? History shows that that shit doesn't work. Stop trying it. So I don't get that, right? Right, like I don't get how they think it's so gonna work after civil rights with race and civil rights with gender. It's like what? How many? Like what is it gonna be? Now sexual orientation. Like what? You show that every time people on this side lose. I don't know why you keep trying it. Like gay people in the UK already have civil partnerships which provide all the same rights to marriage. Okay, but why does it matter? What if that's cool with you? Why is marriage different then? If you're cool with them being together under the law, why does it matter if they're not allowed to be married? The arguments that don't even bother to hide their homophobia. I'm concerned about the impact gay marriage will have on society and schools. It won't have an effect on it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect school or overarching society, except it makes everybody more open-minded and more happier. It makes marginalized gay people happier. They don't have to worry about being seen as different and being worried about their future and feeling that they can't do something just because of their choice of partner. Um, Gay marriage is immoral. No, it's not. I don't understand. No, like that's like I can't even argue with that. My morals say it's not. That morals is a completely yeah. Marriage is a morals. I mean are 100% opinion based. Everyone's morals were different. You can't use morals as an argument. Gay people should not be allowed to marry people because they're more likely to be promiscuous. Actually, they're not. Straight people are more likely to be promiscuous. We talked about this earlier. I love my best friend, my brother, and my dog. Does that mean I would like to marry them? No, because you don't love them in the same way you love your significant other. It's a different type of marriage. Different type of relationship, I mean. So, if you love them like you know, you love them like the way you love your wife or your husband in a straight marriage, then that's different, right? Um, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. God didn't make shit. He doesn't exist. That also, even if God does exist, he definitely didn't do shit like that. He didn't create Adam and Eve. That's just a story from a book that you read your entire life. That's not actually true. If everyone was gay, mankind would cease to exist. Well, the fact that everybody isn't gay, so that doesn't matter. That doesn't make any sense. Everybody's not gay, so it doesn't matter. Gay rights are fashionable right now. Yeah, and they always were. Like gay rights have always been pushed on other people, but it doesn't actually make a difference. Um, yeah. The only people who want gay marriage are the liberal elites. Really not true. Most people want it. Again, like we talked about this before, majority of people are for gay marriage. Gay people do not even want marriage. Obviously they do, because otherwise, what are they arguing for? Why are they even talking about this then? Gay people can already get married. People of the opposite gender. Why would they do that if they're gay? There are drastic consequences for society if we accept gay marriage. No. Yeah, no, they don't. Everything's good in these countries. In fact, the countries that were really early on in the legalization of gay marriage point there, they were doing really well actually, and we're the ones who were doing really shitty. So maybe talk to them about it. Gay marriage will cause a disestablishment of the church. No, it won't. Those people are already not in the church, so they won't affect it. But like the people who are gay people almost entirely abandoned the church, so it really shouldn't affect things because they already are part of the church, so it won't matter. Also, the church sucks anyway, so I don't really care if it falls. But respecting your faith, it still shouldn't not matter. Gay marriage will lead to it'll lead to poly poly polygamy. I don't know. But he married more than one person. I can't say it. Bestiality and pedophilia. No, it won't. No effect on it. Because gay people already exist, so why would it make a difference now? It's not like we're just acknowledging their existence now. We're just giving them more rights. It's like I don't understand why it would make a difference now. Like they already exist. Gay marriage caused the end of the Roman Empire / 9/11. What? What the fuck? This one has to be the silliest one I've ever heard. What? I'm gonna read this actual one because I just explain what what the history of it. The Roman Empire dis uh dis disintegrated as barbarians from the north overwhelmed them, forcing the last Roman emperor Romulus Augustus, to abdicate to the Germanic warlord Adorser. This had nothing to do with homosexuality. The attacks on the World Trade Center were orchestrated by Al Qaeda, an extremist Muslim group that detests America. The gay mafia was not involved. You're too emotionally involved to make rational arguments. So are you. Okay, I don't get that either. Okay. Also, everyone makes arguments out of passion. Otherwise, well, they wouldn't. Nobody just like, yeah, I think people should be allowed to do whatever. I don't really care. Like, whatever. Like, of course, you have to have passion behind it. That's how you know that it means something. Um, we are in an economic crisis, so we shouldn't be wasting time on gay marriage. That doesn't make any sense because obviously, obviously, we're not where we are now, but we at the time, right? You know, you can't just spend your entire time of your life just focusing on one thing. You're gonna need to work on more than one thing at a time in order to get things done. So yeah, in order to run a country, you're gonna have to be able to focus on more than one problem at a time. So yeah. Anyway, that's it for this one. The possible last episode of Pride Month. I hope you all had a great Pride Month. It was really good one of my first Pride Month as a member of the community. It's really great. Thank you all so much for listening. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Teen Talks About Stuff. Follow me on Twitter, ATTAS_pod. You can go to our subreddit, r/Teen Talks About Stuff. You can email me at teentalksaboutstuff@gmail.com. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, follow, all the things you need to do. Do them. All of them. Every single one of them. But yeah, do all the things. Let me know any other facts or fiction about the LGBT community that we haven't talked about before, or any other possible any other ideas you have for episodes. Let me know. Whole world out there we could talk about, so let's do it. All right. Thank you all so much for listening. I will talk to you all in the next one, whenever that is. I don't know, but hopefully soon. But I promise I will be back for episode 64. I'll talk to you all in the next one. Bye bye.